We have the ramping up of facial recognition. We've got 30 arrests a day for social media posts. We're getting rid of trial by jury in most cases. And we've also got children being radicalised in our schools by left-wing teachers. And now this government are trying to force digital ID onto us all. And the excuse that they're using, Sir Edward, is that it will stop illegal migrants from working. Now, if the Prime Minister was really serious about stopping illegal migrants from working, then he would detain and deport every single illegal migrant that crosses the English Channel, but of course he won't. This is a gimmick. It's a pathetic attempt by a weak Prime Minister who has lost total control. Over 5,000 of my constituents signed this petition, and they do not want this government poking their noses into their private lives. My constituents are not illegal migrants. They did not break into this country. They are decent, hard-working people whose fathers and grandfathers and great-grandfathers fought in 2 world wars to secure our freedoms. And every single working person in Ashfield is now going to be penalised because of the failures of this government. You don't need a digital ID to work in this country. You need a national insurance number backed up with a driving licence, a passport or some photo ID. And my message to the government, Sir Edward, is quite clear. You allow undocumented men into our country with no ID at all. You pick them up and place them in luxury hotels with no ID at all. You then give them a free asylum claim and free legal aid with no ID at all. Yet you are ordering my constituents in Ashfield to get digital ID, and then you have the cheek to call us fascists. That's what they do. So just leave my constituents alone and concentrate on clearing up the mess that you lot created.
Picture this: a packed parliament, benches full, tension hanging heavy, and then Lee Anderson stands. What comes next doesn't just stir debate, it detonates it. This isn't about a simple piece of plastic or another policy tucked into paperwork. It's about identity, power, and how far the state reaches into everyday lives. It's about whether the country people recognize today still reflects the one they believe in. And before we step deeper into this storm, a quick reality check. Most of you watching haven't subscribed yet. It takes seconds, costs nothing, but it drives this channel forward. Hit subscribe, tap the notification bell, and now, back to the moment that's turning the chamber into a battleground.
I can't tell you how uncomfortable I feel sitting this side of the chamber. But it is testament to the fact that this is an extremely passionate subject which does arguably need to be heard in the chamber. Digital ID is the biggest step towards a surveillance state this country has ever faced in my lifetime. If any government wants access to every detail of your life, they are the ones who should be feared. We live in a country where the state can't even run a basic IT system without losing data or leaking personal details. It won't last a week before a mountain of sensitive personal data is left at a bus stop in Kent again. I do not trust any government. I certainly do not trust this government. And let us remember, once government gets a new power, it never gives it back. It expands and evolves. Digital ID will not stop at proving who you are. It will creep into travel, banking, housing, benefits, even voting. Today it's voluntary, tomorrow it will be required for security reasons. The day after that, you won't be able to access basic services without it. All for your own good, remember. Britain is supposed to be a country where the government serves the people, not the other way around. A country built on privacy, liberty and trust. British people just want the government to leave them alone and get out of their lives, to build a business, raise a family and live in peace. Digital ID treats every citizen as a suspect. It assumes that the state has the right to look over your shoulder. You defend it by severely limiting the power of the state, not radically expanding it. Abolishing jury trials, cancelling elections, implementing facial recognition, and now this. This incoming dystopian future must be resisted. I will be holding my own protest against this creeping move towards George Orwell's Animal Farm. I will simply not comply. I will not be downloading a digital ID. I urge other MPs to commit to do the same. The solution is obvious. I'll just have to reinvest in a Nokia. I preferred the simplicity of it anyway. The sound people of Great Yarmouth do not want digital ID. Thank you.
So here we are. The government pushes mandatory digital ID, and Parliament pushes back hard. Lee Anderson rises, sharp and unapologetic, and unleashes a blistering challenge straight at the government benches. How can officials accommodate undocumented arrivals while demanding law-abiding Britons carry digital papers like something out of a surveillance state? The chamber jolts. Conservatives nod, SNP members scribble, even Liberal Democrats sit in uneasy agreement because the point lands with force. Anderson doubles down, invoking Winston Churchill and the wartime ID cards introduced as temporary measures that lingered until 1952, only scrapped after a judge ruled them incompatible with British liberty, history now being used to warn against modern overreach. The irony hangs heavy. Then attention turns to Keir Starmer, reportedly tense and defensive, leaning on familiar lines about national security, migration control, and protecting services, but the arguments struggle to stick. Priti Patel steps in and dismantles the case piece by piece, citing the abandoned 2006 ID scheme that burned through hundreds of millions, pointing to repeated data breaches across major government systems, and warning that a single massive database would create a goldmine for fraud and abuse if compromised. Online reaction detonates. Clips rack up millions of views. Comparisons to Big Brother surge, and viral edits flood social feeds, while a petition opposing the policy races toward millions of signatures, turning criticism into a full-scale public backlash. The government may have the numbers to force it through, but politically the ground is unstable. Trust already strained, scrutiny intensifying, and mandatory digital identification threatening to become the tipping point. In the end, the confrontation sends a clear signal. Liberty remains a live issue, and for once, Parliament heard the warning loud and clear.
Of the response to this petition of almost £3 million, or of almost 3 million people, should cause us all to pause, because it's quite clear that this rash proposal has touched a deep-seated opposition amongst our constituents as to anyone deeming to interfere with their personal data and their personal details. And 5,000 almost of my constituents in North Antrim are amongst that number, and I well understand and support their opposition. Now, yes, it might be convenient. It might be expedient for some to have all their data at one location that they can share. But the key issue here is that the government is choosing, without a mandate, to make that mandatory. It'd be a different matter if the government was coming to this House and saying, we're going to provide a facility whereby, if you wish, you can have the convenience of that. Yep. If you want to take the risk of being hacked, we will provide the data. But when they say to the citizen, you must, we will impose, then they've crossed a line that no self-respecting government should cross, and that no self-respecting people should tolerate. And that, for me, is the critical component here, that this is a government that thinks that it knows better, that it will impose, and we will be left with no choice as citizens. That is so illiberal, so fundamentally an assault upon our personal freedoms, that I think no one in this House should be entertaining it, least of all the government. Yes, good point.
The Honourable Gentleman is making an contribution, as always. Does he agree with me, though, that if this was such an important issue, why was it not in the manifesto at last general election for the governing party?
Obviously, it's a question I can't answer. It's one I doubt if the Minister will answer, but it's a question well posed. Why, oh why, if you're going to impinge upon the personal liberties of your citizens, would you not, in asking for their votes, tell them that that's your agenda? Yes?
I thank the honourable member for giving way. Of course, as chair of the committee, I must be fair-minded and impartial at all times. But the member might be acquainted with the fact that I represent the most remote mainland constituency in the whole of the UK. And just let me put this point, we do know what digital exclusion is.
Yep. And representing a constituency in North Antrim, I know many parts of my constituency where you can't get the digital connections that are supposedly promised, and I know what digital exclusion is in that regard as well. So this is a proposition so flawed, no matter which way you look at it, but most fundamentally flawed in the compulsion that it brings. The final point I wanted to make to the Minister is this. Whatever happens on this subject matter, and I trust it is ditched in its entirety, but whatever the ultimate outcome is, it has to be a nationwide outcome, because too often I've seen in my part of the United Kingdom differences of treatment which add to the already obnoxious situation where we're partitioned by an Irish border. We don't want partitioned on a digital border as well.
Order, order. Robbie Moore to move.